What's going on, guys? It's your boy Christian, and yes, we're finally back with an Sony FS5 beginner's guide video. And in this one, we're going to be talking about all of the options that you can use on the Sony FS5 for external recording. Our last episode for the beginner's guide was internal recording, so if you guys wanted to learn how to use and actually get the most out of your SD card slots in the Sony FS5, make sure you guys reference to that video and then jump over here and watch this video if you're looking to do more external recording to get the very most out of your Sony FS5 and the most quality that you can while externally outputting on the Sony FS5. So I do have the Sony FS5 right here, and we will reference to the camera in this video just to make sure we are getting everything correct of the placement of the actual menus, and we're going to go over what those menus mean and what you can expect when actually changing some of these settings. So firstly, what are the external output connections here on the Sony FS5? You do have the full-size HDMI and you do have an SDI out here on the Sony FS5, which if you want to go over the rest of the IO, you do have an Ethernet port, headphone out jack, and also an XLR port here on the body of the Sony FS5. Basically, to get into the external record settings, you're going to hit menu, you're going to go down to the second tab on the menu options pop-up, I guess is what you would call it, and you will go to video out. Now in video out, this will give you all of the controls and all of the settings to actually control what comes out the HDMI and or the SDI. So it's up to you which preference that you would like to actually use here to actually, you know, externally output on your Sony FS5. So the first thing we will be met with will be output select. So this is basically kind of self-explanatory. This is basically selecting where you want the camera to externally send video. Now this is pretty much self-explanatory. This is basically going to select where you want the FS5 to send an external video feed. So when you click on output select, you have SDI, HDMI, and also video. Now I don't really know what video is, I haven't messed with that one much, but SDI and HDMI are going to be the ones that are going to be the most common nowadays, so make sure you are selecting which one you are using. Majority, I am using the Ninja V with the SDI module, so I will be recording in a video out for SDI. Now if you jump all the way back out and go to SDI/HDMI, basically this menu gives you the resolution of each of those outputs. Now if you're using SDI, you can actually go all the way up to 2160p. You actually have 1080p, and then you have 480i. Now if you live in Europe or have a different conversion, you can actually use any of these other ones. You have 1080p, 480i, 720p, you got 1080i and 480i, and you got 480p and 480i. So you can basically go from 480i and or p, from 720p all the way up to 1080i and or 1080p. And of course you got your 2160. So I'm going to be just setting it to the maximum, which is going to be the 2160 1080p 480i. So we're going to be using that one, and that's going to give you basically the best quality while externally outputting with the Sony FS5. Now we're going to jump down to the next option, and that's going to be the 24/30p output. Now basically what this is going to do is basically give your monitor or whatever you're viewing the output source on a capped frame rate. So majority of the time I make sure I have this on 24p and 60p. Now you can do 24p SF or 30 PSF, but I don't really know what the PSF stands for, so I don't necessarily use that. 24p and 30p are one of the most common, so I basically make sure it stays there. And you also can do a 60p pull down, but make sure you just keep it simple and do the 24/30p on the output. Once you jump into that setting and get everything set up, you want to jump down to down convert type. Now what this is it basically going to down convert whatever the output is going out from the external whichever one you're using, the SDI or HDMI for your Sony FS5. Now, you can do a squeeze, which is basically going to squeeze in the image that you're viewing on your external recorder, or you can do letterbox, which is going to make sure it stays in a 16:9 aspect ratio. You can also do edge crop, which kind of is self-explanatory. It's going to crop the edges. So I always just recommend putting in letterbox 16:9 and don't touching it. The next thing is going to be HDMI timecode output. Now, if you want your timecode to show up in your recording, like on the Ninja V, if you turn on timecode, it's actually going to record the timecode over the video. So this can actually ruin a video. So I make sure that it is actually off. And the reason why is, like I said, I've had it mess up videos before. Now, it is good if you can have the Ninja to just record what's on the screen and not the time code, but you also have time code on your Ninja and on any other external outputted, recorder that you might have. So I would just suggest using the time code on there and turning the one off on the camera, because it can actually show up as an overlay in your recording. Now, after you jump out of there, you're going to have the SDI/HDMI record control. Now, I usually keep this on, and it works every now and then, usually when I'm using HDMI here on the Sony FS5. But what this allows you to do to basically is you can hit the record button on the Sony FS5 and it will actually send the record signal out to either the HDMI or the SDI output. So I usually, like I said, have this on just in case I am running HDMI and maybe I just hit the record button on the handle. I need to make sure that the actual Ninja V is getting that signal to know to start recording. Majority of the time, just to make sure you play it safe, I usually just hit the button on the Ninja V and don't worry about having the HDMI/SDMI record trigger set or control on, because sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, and I believe it's just proprietary to the HDMI here on the Sony FS5. So if you're using SDI, I don't think it actually works if you press the record button, even with this setting turned on. That's gonna actually be it here for the actual external recording options for the Sony FS5. Now, everything and all of the videos for the Sony FS5 Beginner's Guide will be in the playlist in the description below. Remember, if you want to check out the latest video we just did, that's going to be on the internal recording options that you can use here for your Sony FS5. It's been your boy Christian. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button if you just so happen to like the video. I'll see you guys on the next one.